morning.
Good morning.
I'm Bob Chasey. I have the honor of being president of Citizens for East Shore Parks. Today I'm actually here to talk about an unusual thing that happened in the way to the courthouse. We started about almost 5 years ago suing to stop this project, and we had a lot of conflict with the developer. And during that process, kind of an evolutionary development took place. We began to actually know the people that we were involved with, and we began talking about the kinds of things that we wanted to see for the site, and they began talking to us about the kinds of things they wanted to see for the site. And that's what happened in this process that we are now about to talk about. An extraordinary set of agreements have been reached. We call them the Shoreline Protection Agreement, and from an environmentalist point of view, this is an astounding and extraordinary set of benefits for the community.
As Bob Chasey pointed out, we were one of the petitioners in this case and in the lawsuit because of those issues. And what happened, as Bob indicated, was a very remarkable process of people identifying that there really were a lot of common concerns and issues among all of us, both on the part of the Giddeyville tribe upstream and us in the environmental community with regard to Point Molate. And I have to say, in my years of dealing with development issues on behalf of the environmental organizations, that one of the more remarkable aspects of this whole development issue here is that unlike most other developers who simply looked at the environmental community and said, we're going to do what we want and you have to accept it. Instead, the Giddeyville tribe and upstream worked with us, came to us, we talked with them, and put together just a remarkable package of environmental protections and money for environmental purposes that could not have been achieved otherwise. This is a former naval supply depot. Under the federal law dealing with former Navy, Army, military bases, the property has to be redeveloped in a way that's economically viable. There has to be some sort of economically viable use of the property. And we have a site that has a lot of toxic cleanup to deal with, a lot of areas that were already, including Mine Haven, former sites that need to be restored.
The Sierra Club is pleased to support the settlement agreement arrived at by the local environmental organizations, the Giddeyville tribe, and the upstream Point Molate. It is clear that the agreement will provide significant funding for habitat protection, Richmond shoreline acquisition, waste reduction, recycling, and energy conservation programs, while also allowing for economic growth for Richmond. This settlement agreement creates a model for how economic development and environmental goals can both be attained. The benefits achieved in this agreement are far greater than Seth and Spraldeff would have achieved by winning their CEQA lawsuit, and the Sierra Club is pleased that all parties were able to reach such a positive resolution for the entire Richmond community.
We'll purchase this land from the city of Richmond. They got it for $1. We'll buy it from the city of Richmond and then hand it back over to the federal government. It's kind of an interesting process. But this will become the tribe's home. So it'll be a place where the tribe can house its members. They can have access to their tribal government. The entire membership that's been scattered all over the country from termination can come back here. They can live here. They can work here. They can have job opportunities. The tribe has over 60% unemployment. If you can imagine, Richmond has 20%, tribe has 60% unemployment. And so job opportunities and job creation are very important for our members as well.
The tribe sees the land and the Bay Area, a lot of the environment is very sick. You know, it's polluted, it's overpopulated, it's used wrong, and so they really want to view it as they really view the world as they've got to heal it. They got to restore all the plants and animals the way they used to be. You know, traditionally, Native people, they managed the land and always kept it intact for the next generation. They see people here they just use it up and throw it away just like a piece of garbage. So when they were able to find people that think the same way, they were naturally drawn to them. And that's how this environmental agreement came about.
One of the things that needs to be recognized is that this site is a former military base, and under the federal law, you have to, if you're going to clean it up, which you have to do, you also have to have a economically viable use on the site. And so a major challenge is, how do you get the kind of development, commercial development, that's going to enable you to do that? Because that's essentially mandated by law. And all the military bases are closed all over the country have had that happen to them. It's a model project in the collaborative process that has gone on not only with the labor people, but also now with the environmental community, and it's one that I have not really seen in the past, and that includes not only the agreements on future funding for parks and acquisition, which will only come about if the project is approved, but also the preservation of 3/4 of the site as open space, and the restoration of native habitat on those areas that need to be restored.
So this is, as others have said, truly an extraordinary event. It's the only one I can think of in 36 years where we didn't have to go to the U.S. Supreme Court or the California Supreme Court to find an appropriate solution to what appeared to be a very perplexing environmental question.
And the more the public finds out about what this is truly going to achieve, the more support I think it will garner within all of the community. The labor community, certainly, the environmental community, certainly. I think the rest of the doubting public, and when they find that this is an economic engine that will revitalize Richmond and Contra Costa County, and more importantly, it will establish the first step in a system of regional shoreline parks for the North Bay that will make Contra Costa County the showcase. This is a template.
In the news today, all you hear about is whether we have jobs versus environmental protection. And I think it's been our belief all along that unless we have both, our society is doomed. We can't continue doing what we've been doing for the last 200 years. And I think it just takes a lot of hard work and creativity and people thinking out of the box to get there. And I think this project is one example of that, and you've heard about that today.
This kind of historic agreement with environmental groups doesn't happen overnight. And it was a process of 2 years of discussing and finally arriving at a common vision of how you could use this Point Molate development project to achieve community and environmental benefits that you could not achieve without it. You know, the environmental groups typically would start out opposing major development projects, and they did the same thing here. But I think they realized that in these times that we need to be more creative, and that with a project like this, that you can build a huge economic engine to provide for hiring and job training and all the things the community needs on a very small environmental footprint, and at the same time generate the kind of revenue that would help acquire parks and open space and build the Bay Trail and protect shoreline. They came to that realization, and that's really what this agreement does.
The environmental cleanup of this job is huge. I mean, it's a big, large portion of the monies that's going to be spent for this project, and it's based on recommendations from federal, state, and local authorities. It's all legal, and it's binding. I mean, we have a contract with a company that's has agreed to hire the people of Richmond, from Richmond, to do Richmond work. And we can't get anything any better than it. I don't know of nothing else that's that the environmentalists saying that what they want. We've given them more than what they want. This is a perfectly 80% green project, you know, and it's mind-boggling to see what the opposition can say now that we have the top people of the environmentalists in the nation backing us.